Good morning students. Welcome to Alphores e-learning botany classes. In today's session, that is session 10, we are going to discuss about Corm, right? In the previous session, right, we started underground stem modifications, right? Underground stem modifications. Sir, underground stem modifications are of 4 types, right? Rhizome, corm, stem tuber and bulb. Rhizome, corm, stem tuber and bulb. We already completed the first one. What is rhizome, right? Now go for the second one. What's a corm? Right? Now listen here. Sir, this corm, it grows vertically below the surface of the soil. Horizontally or vertically? Vertically. Corm grows, how sir? Vertically. Grows vertically where sir? Below the soil surface. It grows vertically below the soil surface. Is it okay? Sir, as it is growing vertically, it is not differentiated into dorsal side and ventral side. Is it differentiated? No, not differentiated. Not differentiated. Not differentiated into dorsal and ventral side. Dorsal and ventral side. Is it differentiated? No, it's not differentiated into dorsal side and ventral side. Okay, now listen this statement. Sir, we are discussing about what's a corm. Sir, this is a corm. Okay, now see this diagram. Sir, here leaves are modified into scale leaves. What are all these, sir? These are scale leaves. These are scale leaves. Okay, therefore leaves are modified into what, sir? Scale leaves. Leaves are modified into scale leaves. Okay, now see, sir, this is axil of the scale leaf. Sir, from this axil of the scale leaf, which bud is present? Axillary bud. Yes or no? Sir, in the axil of a scale leaf, what is present? Axillary bud. That axillary bud develops into daughter corm. Which bud? Axillary bud. Developed into what? Daughter corm. Axillary bud develops into what, sir? Daughter corm. Axillary bud develops into daughter corm and used for vegetative propagation. Used for vegetative propagation. Sir, what is this one? Terminal bud. What is this one? Terminal bud. This is a terminal bud. Sir, compared to rhizome, the terminal bud of corm is big. The terminal bud of corm is big than the terminal bud of what, sir? Rhizome. Is it okay? Right. Therefore, sir, axillary bud. Which bud, sir? Axillary bud. Sir, this axillary bud develops into axillary bud develops into what, sir? Daughter corm. Axillary bud develops into daughter corm, right? And used for what, sir? Used for vegetative reproduction. Used for what, sir? Vegetative reproduction. Now go for the terminal bud. What is another name for terminal bud? Apical bud. Yes or no? Sir, terminal bud. Sir, this terminal bud is bigger. The terminal bud of corm is bigger than terminal bud of what, sir? Rhizome. Than terminal bud. Than terminal bud of what? Rhizome. What is bigger? The terminal bud of corm is bigger than terminal bud of rhizome. Sir, this terminal bud develops into what, sir? Terminal bud develops into aerial shoot. Terminal bud develops into which shoot, sir? Aerial shoot. Terminal bud develops into aerial shoot. Sir, shoot means stem should be there. Yes or no? Leaves should be there. Sir, this aerial shoot is with normal leaves. Whereas the leaves present on the corm are modified into what, sir? Scale leaves. It means in the case of corm, how many types of leaves are there? 2 types of leaves are present. It means dimorphic leaves are present in the case of corm. Which leaves are present? Dimorphic leaves. dimorphic leaves. Dimorphic leaves. Dimorphic leaves means two types of leaves. How many types of leaves? Two types of leaves. What are the two types of leaves, sir? Underground leaves are modified into what? Scale leaves. Underground leaves are modified into what, sir? Scale leaves. Whereas aerial leaves are normal leaves. Yes or no? Aerial leaves are what, sir? Normal leaves. Aerial leaves are normal leaves. Sir, corm is a underground stem modification. Yes or no? Complete stem stores food materials. In the case of corm, who stores food materials? Complete underground stem stores food materials. Right? What stores food materials? Complete underground stem. Complete underground what? Stem stores food materials. Complete underground stem stores what, sir? Food materials. Complete underground stem stores food materials. Is this statement okay? Shall we go for the examples of corm? Right? Now go for examples of corm. Right? Number one, colocasia. Colocasia. Second example is Amorphophallus. Right? Amorphophallus. Amorphophallus. Next one is next one is alocasia. 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 Is it okay? Right. What are the next ones, sir? Alocasia. Right. Next one is crocus. Crocus sativus. What it is, sir? Crocus sativus. Next one is colchicum. 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 Okay. Next gladiolus. What it is? Gladiolus. Gladiolus. Therefore, colocasia, Amorphophallus, alocasia, crocus sativus, colchicum, gladiolus, all these are examples of corm. Okay, sir, this Amorphophallus is also called as zameen khand. What is another name for Amorphophallus, sir? Zameen khand. Okay, sir, this crocus sativus is commonly called as saffron. Kesar bolte na? Right, saffron. Saffron. Next, colchicum. Colchicum is commonly called as what, sir? Meadow saffron. What it is called as, sir? It is commonly called as meadow saffron. Meadow saffron. Okay. Now listen this statement. Sir, in the case of corm, generally adventitious roots are developed from base of the corm. Which roots? Adventitious roots. Which roots? Adventitious roots. From where they are developed from? Developed from base of the corm. Base of the corm. Now listen the statement. In case of Amorphophallus, in case of what, sir? Amorphophallus, corm is placed at a particular depth in the soil. In Amorphophallus, corm is placed at a particular depth in the soil with the help of pull roots. With the help of which roots? Pull roots. Pull roots are also called as contractile roots. What is another name of pull roots? Contractile roots. Is it okay? Right. Therefore, in Amorphophallus, that is in zameen khand, corm is placed at a particular depth in the soil with the help of pull roots or contractile roots. With the help of pull roots or contractile roots. With this, we completed the corm. Right? Now go for the third one. What it is, sir? Stem tuber. Right? What it is? A stem tuber. Stem tuber. Right? Now listen here. Sir, take a plant. In this plant, this part is a root. What it is? A root. Okay. And this is a stem. What it is, sir? This is a stem. Right? This is a stem. Sir, from this stem, right, branches are developed, sir. From this stem, what are developed, sir? Branches are developed. Okay. Now see here, in some plants, The branches which are close to the soil surface, this is the soil surface, okay, right. Sir, this is the branch which is close to the soil surface, yes or no? Sir, these branches which are close to the surface of the soil, they bends towards the soil. They are bending towards the soil and they are growing into the soil. Growing into the soil. Sir, if it grows into the soil, now this branch becomes aerial or underground, sir? This becomes a underground branch. What it becomes, sir? Now this becomes a underground branch. Now it becomes a underground branch. Is it okay? Sir, first you tell me. Sir, this is a branch which is close to the surface of the soil. Yes or no? This branch which is close to the surface of the soil, right, it is growing into the soil. Growing into the soil means it is growing in which manner? It is growing in positively geotrophic manner. Yes or no? Generally, a root grows in positively geotrophic manner. Here the branch is growing in positively geotrophic manner. And now this branch becomes which branch, sir? It becomes a underground branch. Now listen, sir, this is the tip of the underground branch. Yes or no? What it is? Tip of the underground branch. This tip of the underground branch stores food materials and becomes tuberous. Who is storing the food materials? The tip of the underground branch stores food materials. The tip of the underground branch stores food materials and becomes tuberous. Who stored the food? The tip of the underground branch has stored the food. This tip of the underground branch which has stored the food is called as a stem tuber. What is this tip of the underground branch which stored the food called as a stem tuber? Stem tuber. Therefore, in stem tuber, food is stored in the tip of the underground branch. Where food is stored? In the tip of the underground branch. Is it okay? Right. Now go for examples of stem tuber. Examples of stem tuber. First one, Solanum. Solanum tuberosum. What is the first example? Solanum tuberosum. The common name of Solanum tuberosum is potato. What it is, sir? Potato. Potato. Second example for stem tuber is Helianthus. Helianthus tuberosus. Helianthus tuberosus. Helianthus tuberosus. Okay. Go for the first example. What it is? Solanum tuberosum. Solanum. Sir, Solanum tuberosum. Solanum tuberosum means what, sir? Potato. Yes or no? Right. Sir, if you take this potato, right, if you take this potato, in potato, the outermost layer is what in color? Brown in color. Yes or no? This outermost brown layer of potato is called as periderm. What it is called as a periderm. This periderm is what in color? Brown in color. What colored it is? It is brown colored. Okay, therefore it is brown in color, and this is a secondary protective layer. What it is? It is a secondary protective layer. It is a secondary protective layer. Therefore periderm is brown colored. It is brown in color, right, and it is a secondary protective layer. Sir, then who is a primary protective layer of a plant? Epidermis. Yes or no? Epidermis is a primary protective layer, whereas periderm is the secondary protective layer. Periderm is formed during secondary growth. Periderm is formed during secondary growth. Okay. Now listen here. Sir, in case of potato, that is Solanum tuberosum, if you see the stem tuber, this is a stem tuber, right? On stem tuber, eyes are present. On stem tuber, what are present? Eyes are present. Eyes are present. Eyes are present. On stem tuber of potato, what are present, sir? Eyes are present. For example, this is a eye. This is a eye. Sir, in potato, this eyes represents nodes, sir. Eyes represents what, sir? Nodes. It means these nodes are present in the form of eyes. Nodes are present in the form of eyes. Sir, what this node contains? Generally, a node, what it contains? It contains a leaf. What a node contains? A leaf. But here that leaf is modified into what, sir? Scale leaf. That leaf is modified into what, sir? Scale leaf. As the scale leaf is ephemeral, that is lifespan is less, it falls off. Even though the leaf falls off, the mark of that fallen leaf is like that only. Mark of the fallen leaf is like that only, in the form of a half moon shape. What shape, sir? Half moon shape. Therefore, this scale leaf, right, is present in the form of what, sir? Half moon shape. There is a semi-lunar, right? A semi-lunar leaf scar, nothing but mark of fallen scale leaf. Okay, sir, a node, what more it should contain, sir? Axillary bud. Yes or no? It should contain which bud, sir? Axillary bud. Should contain axillary bud. Is this statement okay? Right. Therefore, in case of Solanum tuberosum, that is potato, nodes are represented by eyes. Nodes are represented by eyes. Sir, each eye contains what, sir? A semi-lunar leaf scar. Semi-lunar leaf scar, which actually represents a scale leaf. Okay. And what more it contains? Axillary bud. Due to the presence of axillary bud, these eyes are used for vegetative propagation. Due to the presence of which bud, sir? Axillary bud. What are used for vegetative propagation? Eyes are used for vegetative propagation. Is this statement okay? Right. Therefore, what, sir? Eyes used for what, sir? Vegetative propagation. Eyes are used for vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction. Why? Due to the presence of due to the presence of which buds, sir? Axillary buds. Due to the presence of which buds? Axillary buds. Right. Eyes are used for vegetative propagation. Due to the presence of which buds? Axillary buds. Eyes are used for vegetative propagation. Sir, in rhizome, axillary bud used for vegetative propagation. In corm, axillary bud used for vegetative propagation. In stem tuber, axillary bud used for vegetative propagation. In bulb also, axillary bud is used for vegetative propagation. Now see this one, sir, this is stem tuber, right? Sir, on stem tuber, do roots present? No. On rhizome, roots are there. On corm, roots are there. On bulb, roots will be. But in stem tuber, on stem tuber, roots are absent. See this statement carefully. Listen the statement carefully. Sir, this is the plant which produces the stem tuber. The plant which produces stem tuber, that plant is with roots, but on stem tuber roots are absent. On what, sir? Stem tuber. On stem tuber. On what, sir? On stem tuber. What are absent? Roots are absent. On stem tuber, roots are absent. Roots are absent on stem tuber. But the plant which produces stem tuber, on the plant roots will be. Okay. Sir, in Solanum tuberosum, that is in potato, the stem tuber stores food in the form of starch. In Solanum tuberosum, that is potato. This is a stem tuber. It is storing food in the form of what? Starch. But in the case of Helianthus tuberosus, the stem tuber stores food in the form of inulin. Stem tuber stores food in the form of inulin. It is not insulin, it is inulin. Okay. Therefore, stem tuber of potato stores food in the form of starch. Stem tuber of Helianthus tuberosus stores food in the form of inulin. Sir, starch is a polysaccharide made up of many sugar units. Inulin is also a polysaccharide made up of many sugar units. But starch is a polymer of glucose. Inulin is a polymer of fructose. Starch is a polymer of glucose, whereas inulin is a polymer of fructose. Is it okay? With this, we completed stem tuber, right? Go for the last underground step modification. What is bulb, right? Go for bulb. Now listen here. Sir, in case of bulb, the stem, this blue one, this is the stem, right? This stem is reduced into a disc-like structure. See here, stem is reduced into what-like structure? Disc-like structure. So we are calling this stem as a discoid stem. Which stem this is? This is a discoid stem. This is a discoid stem. Is it okay? Right. Therefore, stem is reduced into what-like structure? Disc-like structure. Okay. So we are calling this stem as what, sir? Discoid stem. Now listen. Sir, from the lower surface of this discoid stem, what are developed, sir? Adventitious roots are developed. From lower surface of discoid stem, what are developed? Adventitious roots are developed. Whereas from upper surface of this discoid stem, what are developed, sir? Scale leaves are developed. What are developed, sir? Scale leaves are developed. See this diagram? Sir, this is lower surface of discoid stem. Adventitious roots are developed. Upper surface of discoid stem, what are developed? Scale leaves are developed. Sir, in the case of bulb, the stem is not storing the food materials. Rhizome, stem stores food. Corm, stem stores the food. Stem tuber, the tip of the underground branches. Branch means a part of a shoot system, right? Therefore, stores food materials. Whereas in the case of bulb, right, the stem is not storing the food materials. The stem does not store food materials. Then in the case of bulb, who is storing the food materials, sir? Scale leaves stores food materials, or leaf bases. Scale leaves or leaf bases stores the food materials. So this scale leaves, they becomes a fleshy. What becomes a fleshy, sir? The scale leaves becomes a fleshy due to the storage of food materials. The scale leaves becomes a fleshy. Is it okay? Now listen this statement. Sir, here stem reduced into disc-like structure, so we are calling it as a discoid stem. From lower surface of this discoid stem, adventitious roots are developed. From upper surface of this discoid stem, scale leaves are developed. The scale leaf stores food materials and they becomes a fleshy. Yes or no? Sir, this is what, sir? Axil. Right. Sir, this axil contains which bud, sir? Axillary bud. This axil contains which bud? Axillary bud. Axil with axillary bud. Axil with axillary bud. Okay. Sir, this axillary bud develops into daughter bulb. Which bud? Axillary bud. Axillary bud develops into what? Daughter bulb, and used for vegetative reproduction. Used for vegetative reproduction. Which bud? Axillary bud. Develops into what? Daughter bulb. Used for vegetative propagation. Sir, this is the terminal bud, sir. What is this bud? Terminal bud. This is the terminal bud. This is which bud, sir? Terminal bud. This is a terminal bud. Sir, this terminal bud develops into aerial shoot. Terminal bud develops into what? Aerial shoot. Sir, this aerial shoot contains group of flowers. What this aerial shoot is having? Group of flowers. This aerial shoot is having group of flowers. Sir, why we are calling it as aerial? Why we are calling it as aerial, sir? Because this part is above the surface of the soil. Because this part is above the surface of the soil. So we are calling it as what, sir? Aerial shoot. Is it okay? Therefore, see this diagram. The terminal bud develops into aerial shoot. This aerial shoot bears what, sir? Inflorescence. This aerial shoot bears what, sir? Inflorescence. This aerial shoot which bears inflorescence is called as a scape. What it is called as a scape. Therefore, which shoot? Aerial shoot. Aerial shoot, right, which bears aerial shoot which bears inflorescence. Aerial shoot which bears inflorescence. What is this aerial shoot which bears inflorescence called as, sir? Scape. What it is called as a scape. Sir, take any plant in which bulb is present. Such plants shows what, sir? Scape. Okay. Now listen this statement once. Sir, this is a stem reduced into disc-like structure, discoid stem. From lower surface, adventitious roots are developed. From upper surface, scale leaves are developed. Yes or no? Sir, these leaves appears as if they are developed from roots. These leaves are appearing as if they are developed from roots. but actually they are developed from where? Stem. Sir, even though these leaves are developed from stem, why they are appearing as if they are developed from roots, sir? As stem is reduced into disc-like structure. As the stem is reduced into disc-like structure, these leaves appears as if they are developed from roots. Such leaves are called as radical leaves. What are such leaves called? As a radical leaves. Radical leaves. Therefore, presence of radical leaves is a character of what, sir? Bulb. Right. Therefore, which leaves we are speaking about? Radical leaves. Which leaves, sir? Radical leaves. Therefore, what is the meaning of this radical leaves, sir? Leaves developed from stem, but appears as if they are developed from roots. Why? Because stem is reduced into disc-like structure. Okay. Based on arrangement of scale leaves, bulb is of two types. Based on arrangement of scale leaves, bulb is of how many types? Two types, right? Based on arrangement of scale leaves, bulb is of how many types? Two types, right? First one is a tunicated bulb. What is the first one? Tunicated bulb. Tunicated bulb. Second one is a scaly bulb. What is the second one? Scaly bulb. Scaly bulb, right? Go for the first one. What is tunicated bulb? Sir, scale leaves are arranged in concentric circles. Scale leaves, right, arranged. Scale leaves arranged, right, in which manner, sir? Concentric circles. Concentric circles means all circles having the same center. Yes or no? All the circles having the same center. Okay. Therefore, scale leaves are arranged in concentric circles. Whereas a scaly bulb, scale leaves are arranged loosely. What, sir? Scale leaves arranged. How the scale leaves are arranged? Scale leaves are arranged loosely. Scale leaves are arranged loosely. Sir, this is tunicated bulb, right? Therefore, tunic is present. What is present, sir? Tunic is present. What is the meaning of tunic, sir? If you take onion, outer one or two layers, they are dry, thin, membranous. That dry, thin, membranous layers called as a tunic. Here tunic is present, whereas here tunic is absent. What is absent? Tunic is absent. As a tunic is absent, this scaly bulb is also called as a naked bulb. What is another name for scaly bulb? Naked bulb, because the tunic is absent. Sir, this scaly bulb is even called as imbricate bulb, sir. It is even called as what, sir? Imbricate bulb. It is even called as imbricate bulb. Now go for examples. Examples of tunicated bulb. Number 1, Allium cepa. Sir, Allium cepa, common name is onion. What is the common name of Allium cepa? Onion. Second example is tulip. What is the second example? Tulip. And third example is Scilla. What is the third example? Scilla. Now go for scaly bulb. Sir, scaly bulb example is a Lilium. What it is, sir? Lilium candidum. What it is? Lilium candidum. The common name of Lilium candidum is lily plant. What it is, sir? Lily plant. Now listen to the statement. This Allium cepa, tulip, Scilla and Lilium candidum, all this comes under Liliaceae family. All this comes under which family, sir? Liliaceae family. Sir, in the case of Allium sativum, in the case of what, sir? Allium sativum. Allium sativum means common name is garlic. What is the common name? Garlic. In Allium sativum, characters of tunicated bulb and characters of scaly bulb are present. Okay, right? Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.